Everyone, this is Shri and I'm coming at you with a new video, and the topic I'm going to be talking about today is, should Christians criticize other Christians? And the reason why I'm doing this particular topic is a lot to do with the reviews that I did on Mary's reality show. A lot of people were mad at me because they thought that I was judging them. It's wrong for me to judge them because they're fellow Christians and they're not perfect and everybody has sin, and the same thing that everybody has when you try to correct somebody or reprove somebody. It's always the same thing. Their response is, only God can judge them, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to make a video about that, and pretty much what I'm going to be talking about today is the difference between criticism, judgment, reproof, and rebuking. And actually, rebuking and reproving actually goes hand in hand, so they're a lot like each other. Criticism and judgment are a little bit different. So pretty much I'm going to start this video off with the simple stuff, and that is the Webster definition of criticize. So criticize is to consider the merits and the demerits of and judge accordingly. So to criticize something is to consider all angles and then make a judgment based on what you have considered. And to reprove is to scold or correct, usually gently or with kindly intent. So if you're going to reprove somebody, then you are scolding them, but you are scolding them in a gentle way, and you have a good intent when you're doing it. It's not just you're coming at them just to harass somebody. And to rebuke is to criticize sharply. If you're rebuking someone, then you're really at that point trying to correct what they're doing. And I think that rebuking comes after reproving, after you have talked to somebody gently and tried to say something in a nicer way, but also correct them, and they still don't hear what you have to say. That's when rebuking comes in. And judgment, the Webster definition of judgment is basically about like court of law stuff. It doesn't really have like a basic judge, a basic definition of judgment, because a lot of what we have today when it comes to judgment, there's a judge, and then there's a jury, and then there's a court, and then somebody is judged accordingly to after all of the information is heard. But what I try to tell people is that if you look at what a judge does, a judge hears all sides and then makes a final decision on a case or someone's life. If you're judging someone, criticizing someone, reproving someone, and rebuking someone, those are all different things. A judgment is when you've made a final decision, where you said that this is this and this is how it's going to be. Like, to judge somebody would be like, you're doing this, I don't like it, the Bible is against it, therefore you're going to hell. That is making a final decision or a final judgment on someone's life or the course of their Christian walk. If you're doing that, that is wrong. I don't think that criticizing is necessarily wrong if you look at what the definition of criticizing is. But you also have to take reproving and rebuking and put those in there also, because without those, you're criticizing. It lacks it lacks a true reason behind why you're doing it. Now, there's also the issue of gossiping and just doing something with the evil intent. Just because you're criticizing someone does not mean that you're doing it with evil intent. However, you have to follow the guidelines, because the Bible gives us guidelines on how we should reprove each other. And it also gives us guidelines on how we should accept that reproof. So if we weren't supposed to do that, it wouldn't tell us in the Bible how to accept it and how to give it. In Proverbs 9, verse 7 through 8, it says, "He who corrects a scoffer gets dishonor for himself, and he who reproves a wicked man gets insults for himself. Do not reprove a scoffer, lest he hate you. Reprove a wise man, and he will love you." So a wise man will accept reproving if it's coming from the right place. And reproving is only reproving if it's coming from the right place. So you can't reprove somebody and be coming from a wrong place, because then that's considered wrongly criticizing or wrongly judging someone. And then also in Proverbs 12, verse 1, it says, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid." Like, that's what it says. He who hates reproof is stupid. So if somebody is coming to you with something and they're like, brother or sister, I noticed that you've been doing this and this and this, and you are just like, I don't want to hear that. You can't judge me. Only God is judging me. The Bible says that is stupid. And that's what it is, because you have to be able to first. Now, I'm not saying that you should accept everything that somebody's given to you, because sometimes people do give stuff to you and they're not coming from the right place. But you need to first at least analyze what they're saying, pray about what they're saying, and then make a informed decision on how you should react. But to just be like, you can't judge me, blah, 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 that's stupid according to the Bible. Okay, so, and then also in Proverbs 27, verse 5, it says, "Better is an open rebuke than hidden love." And that's the truth. Proverbs 2, verse 7 talks a lot about gossip. And gossip is when people dislike something that you do, but they would rather go to somebody else and talk about it than to go to you first to talk about it. And that's what Proverbs 27 verse 5 is saying. Better is open rebuke than hidden love, which is pretend. It means to pretend like you love somebody, but you really don't like what they're saying, so you go to somebody else, when it would be much better if you rebuke them or reprove them and talk about it that way. And also, I want to make a point to say that a lot of times in our Christian walk, we have these individualistic mindsets that nobody can tell me anything. My Christian walk is my Christian walk, and that's it. Your Christian walk is not just your Christian walk. And the Bible says that we're all one part and we're all one body. So if you're hurting, I'm hurting. And so to say that nobody can say anything to you and that it's just between you and God, that's foolishness, and that goes against what the Bible says. In 1 Corinthians 12, verse 12 through 27, it says, just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body, so it is with Christ. For we are all baptized by one Spirit, so as to form one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slaves or free, we are all given the one Spirit to drink. Even so, the body is not made up of one part, but of many. Now, if the foot should say, because I am a hand, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it would not for that reason stop being part of the body. If the body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But if in fact God has placed the parts in our body, every one of them, just as we wanted them to be, if they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I do not need you, and the head cannot say to the feet, I do not need you. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and the parts that we think are less honorable we treat with special honor, and the parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty. While our presentable parts need no special treatment, but God has put the body together, giving great honor to the part that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that is the part should be equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. So there is no individualism in Christianity. We are all one body, we are all one part. It is okay to reprove each other and have open discussion with each other. It is not okay to gossip and talk behind each other's backs. That's not okay. But to reprove each other and to rebuke each other, there's a way that we should go about doing that, and the Bible outlines that and says that that is okay for us to do. And if you're not willing to accept that, then the Bible also says that you're stupid. Also, I wanted to talk about this whole thing with people saying, you should just pray for that person. If you feel that they're not doing something right, you should just pray for them. That's correct. The Bible does say that you should pray for them, but there's also many steps that the Bible says that you should do after you pray for them. It's prayer with action. It's not just prayer. You pray for them and then you do this, this, and this. And in the description below, I will leave the biblical steps to giving reproof and the biblical steps to accepting how we should accept reproof. And I'll also give the link to the website that I got it from. But it's, it's really good, and it actually goes through a lot of the Bible verses on specific things and how we should handle specific things. Psalms is really good with talking about that, and also Proverbs. So if you have an issue with this, I would encourage you to kind of get in depth into Proverbs and Psalms. I make these videos for myself so that I can remind myself, but I also make these videos for an educational piece for other people who want to learn about these topics with me. So thank you for watching. Bye.